Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Raider Review. Today is Friday, October 30th, 2015.
The beginning of the school year is a busy time. We've been trying to keep up with the local goings-on as well as some big changes here at the school.
First up, you've seen him in the hall and heard him on the announcements. Now let's meet the sharp-dressed man behind the sonorific voice. Here is TV 16's exclusive interview with Brookville's new assistant principal, Mr. John Lesjak.
Well, this year we're doing something new at Brookville, whereas before we had a high school principal and an elementary school principal. They decided to take those two positions and split them from kindergarten through 12th grade. So Mrs. Matson is the principal for curriculum and instruction, and Mrs. Barbazzini is the principal for student services. My job as the assistant principal for student services is to support her in providing our students the support they need to be successful. So that's going to include everything from supporting the guidance department to things like the homecoming tailgate and encouraging school spirit, as well as providing positive behavior support for our students and anything that falls outside the realm of daily instruction. I never was interested in being a teacher as a kid. I thought I was going to play professional baseball. That didn't work out, unfortunately. Then for a long time I wanted to be a lawyer, but in college I had a really good experience working with high school students. And so I decided I wanted to go into education. So I spent the last 9 years teaching 9th grade social studies at Butler Area School District, and this is my first position as an administrator here in Brookville. My philosophy of education is that every student can be successful. And that success is going to look a lot of different ways for a lot of different kids. For someone that is interested in becoming a doctor, then their version of success is going to be, taking a rigorous curriculum and getting the opportunity to go to a college for pre-med. For someone who's never had a family member graduate high school and is interested in a trade, then our job is to help them be successful by graduating and finding a job after they graduate high school. I think everybody can be successful, and it's our job to try and help them figure that out. As far as student discipline goes, my philosophy is that our number one job here is to help every student be safe. And so my job is to make sure that when you're in class and when you're in school, you feel like you're someplace that is secure and safe and is really a positive environment. So we're going to be fair, we're going to be consistent, but we're also going to make sure that when you're not following the rules, there is going to be some kind of consequence, because that's the way the real world works, and we're trying to prepare you for the real world.
I'm sure we'll all give a warm welcome to Mr. Lesjak and continue to enjoy his superb announcements. In other news, homecoming this year was a brilliant success, and students from grades 7 through 12 all participated in the event. Now let's look at some of the highlights and happenings from homecoming week.
Next one, let's go to the one that says book.
On Wednesday, we had a mini spirit week where the students got a chance to dress in patriotic colors, wear clothes from their favorite decade, plus decorate the halls and even their faces. The school spirit for just 3 short days was enough to get the students prepared for the pep rally. I think everyone would agree it was a refreshing break from a typical week.
The homecoming in-school festivities culminated with a pep rally, and everybody got involved. There were plenty of activities, introducing the 2015 homecoming court to the school and giving everybody the chance to get to know each candidate a little better. There were races against time, teacher challenges, student games, and plenty of surprises. Following the pep rally, students and faculty went to the tailgate that previewed the football game that night, where the Queen nominees were introduced to all the fans in attendance.
This year's homecoming tailgate was bigger than any that BHS had before. A mini parade, including the Blue Raider Marching Band and BHS cheerleaders, introduced the 2015 homecoming court to the public. The homecoming court was driven by their fathers in golf carts that were decorated by officers of classes grades 7 through 12.
After the parade, judges awarded prizes to student drivers who decked out their cars with Raider pride. We also had a dunking booth where everyone had a chance to dunk their favorite teachers. Students and teachers performed live background music in addition to these events. Everybody had the chance to participate in fun activities and games.
Members of BHS alumni came back to school and mingled with current students and each other. These events led to the main attraction, the homecoming football game against Red Bank. Kickoff was at 7 o'clock.
Finally, homecoming week came to an end with the Brookville versus Red Bank game and the crowning of the court at the halftime ceremony. Each Queen nominee was escorted by her father or brother across the field and introduced to the public. This year's homecoming queen, Haley Olson, was crowned by last year's queen, Claire Clark. Unfortunately, the game ended in a loss for Brookville, but everybody still had a great time and we look forward to next year's festivities.
Another change at BHS this year is the 9-period day. Teachers and staff, school directors, and parents are all putting their heads together to brainstorm constructive uses for activity period. So we asked you, what do you think we should do during the 9th period? Here's what you had to say.
I think we use it for like clubs or like extra help, I guess.
I think we should use it to get extra help from teachers.
They're a good use of our time so we can not miss class and still have our meetings.
We can make up our tests during this time so we don't have to do that during study.
If you have a project and workshop, you can go down and you can work on it if you can't stay after school.
It is the Wellness Committee's goal to increase student wellness, so as a committee we decided it would be a good idea to use this period to increase student wellness by having intramurals like a volleyball tournament or a skirmish tournament.
I think we should play in the gym and like do sports and stuff.
We should probably be doing a little bit more than just sitting around in our homerooms reading. There's sports that we could be doing, more stuff for clubs that we could do, even just getting together with teachers for like study groups, I think would be more helpful.
Some pretty good ideas there. Remember, you can still suggest your ideas to any teacher or administrator, and as always, you can bring your ideas to the attention of your student council representative. But with so much emphasis on academics nowadays, we often forget about kids' lives outside of school. We came across a local group of kids who play in an adult hockey league in Reynoldsville, Pennsylvania. Now let's find out more about this league.
Brookville Area School District is very well known for their wrestling team and other sporting activities, but one sport that they don't have is hockey. We're here with Kurt Schindler to talk about a local group of kids who found their own way to play hockey.
When we first started playing hockey, it was probably a couple years ago, probably when we were 12 or 13. Funny story, when we actually started playing, we used broomsticks and boxes as our nets and a wiffle ball as the ball to actually use because like when we first started playing, we didn't have any of the equipment needed. We just thought, this looks really interesting, so why don't we try it out? And from there on, we evolved from broomsticks and boxes to, you know, actual hockey sticks and skates, and eventually in an official league over in Reynoldsville. Our most recent hockey event would have been we played in an Ironman tournament, and what Ironman means is you play shorter length games than normal, but you don't have any subs, so you're kind of getting that whole feel of a game just into a smaller time period with no subs. And our team, we were one of the youngest teams there, and there were teams from all around, coming from like Altoona and like Du Bois, anywhere around. And being one of the youngest teams was pretty challenging, playing against a lot of older guys with more experience and stuff. But we played some tough competition, but we really hung with them, and we made it to the second round of the playoffs in the tournament, but we lost a close one. I think we lost by, it was like 5-2, I think was the final score. But yeah, I think we got some good experience and played a lot of good hockey that day.
Thank you, Jaden. It's always great to hear about teenagers finding their own way to keep themselves entertained, and hockey is a great way to do that. And finally, meetings have already started and planning has begun for next year's Spanish Club trip to Costa Rica. So now is a good time to recap what happened on last year's trip. Do you know where the small country of Costa Rica is? Well, a few members of the Brookville Spanish Club found out this summer. We're here to talk with Zoe Cable to find out a little more about the trip.
We went in June with the Spanish Club, and it was a really amazing trip. It was a first time out of the country for a lot of people, so it was a really great experience to have with a school group like that. We had to pack for this trip like a little bit. We had to dress more like modest. We weren't allowed to wear really short shorts or really like skimpy kind of tank tops or anything because in Costa Rica they are very modest about their dress. They don't show a lot of skin down there. So we had to, you know, go shopping and get new stuff. I had to go through my closet and see how much I had that would not show too much skin. Lots of rice and beans, a lot of plantains, and they have really big meals for every single meal. So I was pretty stuffed every single day. It was a lot A lot of rice and beans. Well, the first day we were there, we got into the airport at like 11 o'clock at night, so it was kind of just, you go through customs and you go to bed. But the first full day that we were there, we got to see a lot of the city, and it was different than like any city we see here. Like the largest city in Costa Rica was like smaller than Pittsburgh, so it was really interesting to see that. And we saw a lot of agricultural stuff. It was more of like an urban first day. The rest of it was kind of rural. The religion is definitely Christian. You can see it a lot. And then the culture is very laid back, very friendly. Their national motto is Pura Vida, which means pure life, and they use that for everything, as a greeting, as a farewell, as a how are you. Pura Vida, it's everywhere, and you can definitely tell that they live that way. The landscape is all mountains. You can look in any direction, and they're everywhere. We went zip lining, and we were over this valley like 300 feet in the air, and you could only see mountains. They went forever, and then the ocean was huge and blue and beautiful, and it was definitely different from Pennsylvania. We didn't have to speak a lot of Spanish in Costa Rica, but because it's so touristy down there that a lot of people speak English. But the one time that we absolutely had to was when we went to the school, and it was a kindergarten through 6th grade school with about 25 students. They knew a couple simple English phrases. They knew how to like count to 10 and stuff, but we had to speak totally in Spanish with them, and the language barrier wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. We could definitely communicate what we wanted to say. Overall, I had a really, really great experience in Costa Rica. It was so much fun and so beautiful, and I'm really, really looking forward to going back in 2017.
From BASD 16 News, this is Lakin Hergert reporting back to you in the studio.
Looks like Zoe and the group had a thrilling adventure. A school trip to an exotic location overseas? Where do I sign up? We are about out of time, so I want to take a moment and thank everyone who tuned in. Check out our High School Cube channel to see the extended versions of some of these news stories. Our floor director today has been Kayleen Shuckers, technical director was Walker Orner, and audio was produced by Mr. Remote. We will see you again next month. Have a great weekend, everyone.